Hi, my name is Mark Wilson, and I'm here to talk to you about the 5 best practices to prepare for an interview. First, let's talk about why an interview is important. And what we know is about 33% of 2,000 people that were surveyed, recruiters, mentioned that they know within the first 90 seconds. That's from a company called DK Global, a national recruiting agency, whether or not someone is a cultural fit or a fit for the job overall. And so it's really important that we make good first impressions and that we show up well for interviews in order to get the job. And what do good interview skills lead to for us? Well, first, it's a reflection of your capability. It takes into account the skills that you have, what you bring to the table, and the impact that you'll have in that role. So being able to show up well really acknowledges all of those things. Second, a good interview can influence your earning potentials. It can help you make more in the long term and also in the short term as you take a job if you present well and meet the needs. And then third, it also just helps ensure that if you're following a good interview process, that you're the right fit for the job, cultural fit for the company, and overall information. So today I'm going to talk about the 5 steps that help prepare you for success and move forward. So the first of those is really to know the job description. And that really means know more than what it's called. It's more than just a role, and really focusing on what are the responsibilities inside of there, and then also what are the capabilities or the strengths or experience that they're looking for. It's important to review all of those skills and what's detailed there, and take time to write out what your strengths are and how they align, where your experiences might match up to those, and what benefits you could bring, and really show them how you're qualified for the job. Writing this ahead of time makes it easy for you to remember them and also take it into the interview as a point of reference for you. It shows that you're really prepared. So the second thing that you can do is really to know the company. And when we say that, we mean the company and also the person that's interviewing. So first, understand the company holistically. A lot of people spend time on the website or browsing the job profile, but there are lots of other ways to know the company. So first, do look at the website, understand what their direction is, what their mission and vision might be. You might see some of their key customers that they work with. It really helps you understand who the company wants to present themselves as. Next, there's about 3 other sites that are really important. The first of those is LinkedIn, where you can see who else works there and are you a right cultural fit and who your peers might be, as well as what kind of other open jobs there are and what those look like. Second is LinkedIn, second is Glassdoor. Glassdoor is a unique site because it gives the ability for current employees to share their salaries, to share reviews of the company, and provides you a lot of information. And then the third is really social media. Take a look at their Twitter, their Facebook, their Instagram. You'll get to see a little bit more about their day-to-day life and what that looks like. Then you'll want to do the same thing for whoever you're interviewing for. Spend some time to get to know them on LinkedIn so you have their professional background. Maybe see if they're on social media and see a little bit about their personal lives. But know who you're walking in to talk to, and that way you're prepared to speak to that. The third thing in prepping for an interview is really focus on practicing your responses. So interview training is a very common thing in a lot of companies, and they talk about 2 big areas. The first of those is common interview questions. Things like, what are your greatest strengths? Why do you want this job? Why you might be a good fit for the position. So take time to write those out and let them come naturally from you. Really think about how you're being reflective in those and how you're demonstrating some good capabilities. And the second type of questions that recruiters often answer or ask is more behavioral-based questions. And those might be things like, tell me about a time that you solved a problem, a team you worked with where you led a team, how you may have creatively overcome a challenge. Google is your friend here. You can look up a lot of behavioral-based questions and be prepared with those examples. Oftentimes those trip people up in an interview, and the more you think through good examples of those, the more likely you are to show up well during that interview question. So we've talked about 3 so far, and we're now moving on to the 4th. And that's really, how do you come prepared for your questions? And so a lot of people think that an interview is a one-way street, and I really think about it as 2 ways. So you're also interviewing the company to ensure it's the right fit for you, that it's going to give you the right experiences that you want, that there's growth potential, that the culture reflects the kind of company that you want to, and that your values align with them. So what I recommend doing is coming with a specific list of questions, one related to the job, some questions about the company itself, and then finally some questions for the manager or person interviewing you about their style and what they look for and how they manage their teams. All of these really help to clarify the role and help to understand what you're getting into and if it's a great fit. And then the fifth and final thing that I recommend is really to relax. A lot of people get very nervous, just like giving a speech, about walking into an interview and what they're going to say and what's going to fly at them. So everyone's a little bit different, but it's important to follow some kind of a process to ensure that you're relaxed and calm. Maybe that's calling a friend beforehand and walking through questions and having them mock interview. Maybe it's reading through your responses. For other people, it might just be taking time to be quiet prior to and letting your head get in the right space. But it's really important that you find time to not let your nerves take control of you and that you're showing up as your authentic self. So take a moment to get your head in the right space and ensure you're doing that, and that will really be helpful. So in conclusion, prepping for an interview is really important. In some ways, it could be almost as crucial as the actual interview itself, since it directs and guides that. So treat preparing for interview like it is your job, because when you're looking for a job, it is. Be sure to be yourself and let that flow through. Study the company, know who they are, know what's happening, know how you're a great fit for them, and overall be really prepared. Be ready to show up and present yourself well and in a positive light. And with all of that, all things should go well in an interview.